This is Nikki Glazer from the Nikki Glazer Podcast. On a more serious note, I'm still thinking about that commercial with Tom Brady and Snoop Dogg hating on each other. Because when you listen to the reasons for hating someone or something, you realize just how stupid they really are. There is too much hate in this country, and it's gotta stop. So join us at iHeart in standing up to it. If you see hate, speak up, call it out. And you can learn more by following at What's Up With Hate.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Leah, and we're from the Grown Up Stuff podcast.
And just in time for tax season, on this week's episode, we're chatting with CPA Lisa Green-Lewis about how small businesses can tackle their taxes using TurboTax Business.
A Forbes study mentioned that a whopping 93% of small businesses overpay their taxes. And 17% of Gen Zers believed that you could write off any expense as a business expense. So
Can't blame them.
It's really important to do your taxes right.
Listen to Grown Up Stuff on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
This is The Wheel Weaves Watches, a spoiler-free breakdown podcast of The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. I'm your host, Dani, and I'm joined by my co-host, Brett, and we're here to bring you an in-depth look into the Wheel of Time show. We'll share reactions, episode breakdowns, and relevant background information without spoiling future content from the book series. So let's get watching. Today we're talking about Episode 5 of Season 2 of The Wheel of Time.
Yeah, Episode 5 is Damane.
Yeah, which is a chapter title from The Great Hunt, Book 2.
Yeah, I think all the episodes they're going with
know.
chapter. I do hope they continue. I'm sure they will. Why would they go 2 seasons and not?
I know. I bet if we looked it up, they probably
already
released
released that.
We probably already know the chapter titles or the episode titles.
It's going to be a
for
surprise for
season
me.
3.
So
Yeah.
okay, now I gotta say this might be my favorite episode of this season.
Very good.
Only for not only for, but
the Brown Aja.
not the Brown Aja, the Avienda fight scene.
Oh, no,
I love it.
But you also love the Brown Aja.
I do. But I also like seeing White Cloaks put where I think they belong, which is
in their place?
On their place on the ground and being beaten down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Strong words. I really thought you were going to tell me how much you love the Brown Aja, and that's where you belong.
You only think that because
I like to drink and read books?
I like to do those things.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you're saying that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have a lot to cover. There are some really big sequences.
Huge.
And a lot of critical information and like new elements we kind of got to discuss. Mostly the new stuff being Shanshan. We get introduced a lot more to the Shanshan as a people, the culture, the hierarchy. A lot of stuff here.
We have 2 themes that run throughout this episode.
Okay, go on.
In my
with your
very
book report here.
Professional opinion.
Okay, what are the themes?
One theme is world building.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because not only do we build out the Shanshan world building culture, but we also build out Aiel background and their culture. And then we also find out a little more about the White Cloaks and their interactions with each other as well.
And the Forsaken,
And
honestly.
the Forsaken.
Yeah, okay, world building, yeah.
So world building.
Love it.
Second, compulsion as a theme throughout the episode.
Nice, okay.
In different aspects.
Yeah.
Because we talk about it in the White Tower.
Yeah.
And then we also talk about it a little bit with the Forsaken.
Right.
By accident.
Introducing that to the universe a little bit more. So, okay.
Yeah, but now, before we jump into the episode, I want to talk about the recap.
Okay, yes.
Because we do get some clips from season 1.
Right.
In the recap. We get Egwene and Perrin with child Valda.
Right.
Of the White Cloaks.
If you forgot they were kidnapped. There's a lot of kidnappings taking place.
And also, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
In case you forgot.
Right.
And we also get the scene where Perrin's eyes go gold when he attacks Valda.
Gotcha.
Because it was a little bit up in the air at the end of that episode whether or not Valda was still alive. Because Egwene really believed that he was dead.
Yeah, it seems that way.
She got the rings back. She returned them to the tower.
Yeah, and said that he's not going to be hurting anyone anymore.
Right.
So...
Okay, but then we open with the Shanshan for this episode.
Yeah, so they have a whole lot of ships sailing into Falm.
Boats, and more boats.
Yeah, and we gotta say...
Looks like more of them are coming.
We gotta say Falm, not Falma.
Right.
As it is in the books, and I'm still trying to stick with it, but I forgot about that, and then I remembered, and... Okay, anyways, it might be Falm, might be Falma.
It's hard to say.
It's where the Shanshan are right now, and they're settling down. So we get this, like, really cool look into their society, because they have really set up. And honestly, just because we have recently watched The Hunger Games, they remind me of the Capital people with all their fancy clothes. And
pretty fancy.
There's definitely a hierarchy
and their
here.
Hairstyles and their everything.
It's just like different from what we're used to, so it's pretty cool. Now, Suroth and Ishamael, they enter the city to talk to High Lord Turak, who's the royal commander here of the Helena or the Return, so the Shanshan coming back this way. And we get that a little bit later and some more explanation from Suroth, but we'll dive into this a little bit here.
Okay.
So a couple of things. There's pretty clearly the hierarchy. There's the nobility. We get a reference that they are of the blood. So that's like the nobility, I suppose. So that's what we're doing here. And Suroth has to speak for herself because we saw her previously have a voice talk for her. But then Turak's voice talks for him, and he didn't sound very happy.
No.
Yeah. So it's pretty funny when Suroth gets called. It's just like that difference in hierarchy very quickly.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, Suroth's in trouble.
Yeah, you get put in your place so fast.
But then she's a little sassy about it.
She definitely is. A little chip on the shoulder. Mm-hmm. It's clear that chain of command is important. So Suroth has been a little bit insubordinate, we'll call it.
Yep.
And I found
in the books, though, I thought it was interesting. Where the head is shaved.
Yeah.
Matters in terms of rank and hierarchy, and your long fingernails.
Your nails. That's clearly a sign.
Nails has to do with it. Yep.
Yeah. And we see that. So Suroth has overextended herself, and she has to get her nails chopped off.
Yeah, because
that's a big deal.
Now, I think that these are actually her nails.
Yeah, you were saying that in the initial reactions, too. So you still think those are like her real, and she has to grow those back?
Only because the sentence is she's not allowed to be back in the court until she's presentable again.
Okay.
And so it feels like you're not presentable until your nails are a certain length.
Yeah.
And so she has to grow her nails back.
Right. Ugh.
Until she's welcome back. Like, that's her prison, like, that's her sentence.
Yeah, for like as long as that takes. So that's be
the judgment.
I would simply buy the rings that have the nails.
I think that maybe those rings help keep your nails intact.
You have to imagine they would be fragile. Like, nails can't be that strong. I don't know. There's a lot of nail questions that I have going deeper into this, and I don't think we're going to get an answer.
I think we should just...
Magically enhanced by magic.
I think we should move past the nail thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Padden Fane.
Oh, yeah. So we have Ishamael saying...
I hate him, but, like, let's be real.
Yeah, Ishamael says he has a gift for Turak, and that's why Padden Fane is coming up here.
Walks in with a swagger.
Yeah.
We get the classic Padden Fane whistle in the background.
Mm-hmm. The flattened cube that is the Horn of Valyr box.
I actually wrote in my notes, looks like a flattened cube to me.
Yeah, that's what it is. That was the controversy.
Well, my problem is I couldn't visualize what in the books it's described as a flattened cube.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Well, it's a cube and then it's flattened.
Well, no, it's just a rectangular prism at that point.
Well, you can use fancy words or you can say flattened
cube.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it and went, that is a flattened cube.
Yeah, a couple of things that I find really interesting about the dialogue with Turak here is he says that they're guided by the light and that it's important that they link everyone in this land under them to fight the shadow. So it is pretty cool.
It's a little White Cloak reminiscent.
It is a little bit White Cloak reminiscent, but it's like they're fighting on the good guy, like... Side. Like they're not part of the shadow. Yeah. They're not evil, even though they have Ishamael who's like clearly infiltrated there.
And we can talk about Suroth and Ishamael.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like overarching ideology of the Shanshan, they are the good guys who are here to fight the shadow.
Okay, so it makes everything a touch more complex.
Yeah.
Because we have this new villain who's introduced.
Yeah.
Like the Shanshan, the foreigners, the invaders, the strangers are introduced as a new villain.
Yes.
But now we're finding out they actually fight for the side of the light.
Yeah.
But they enslave women who can channel.
Right.
So it's this whole moral ambiguity.
So it's like the White Cloaks. It's the same, but it's different, but it feels the same.
Oh, it's just, it's quite complex.
Definitely is. It's a couple layers.
And nothing feels more like the Wheel of Time
than complexity.
And moral ambiguity.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last thing I want to point out that he says is that with this, so being the Horn of Valir, the whole world will be the Shanshan. So clearly the Horn of Valir, very powerful object.
The whole world will be ours.
There you go. So that was the really cool cold open.
Yeah, but he goes to open it and then doesn't open it.
Oh, yeah. We don't see what's inside the box.
We don't see it.
Yeah.
What kind of horn is
that?
The
question of what kind of horn. It's a big question mark.
Big question.
We don't get to answer it now. Okay. Now, we're going to jump around a little bit. We're going to keep on track with these different plot lines.
Yes.
We're going to talk about a few more of the Shanshan-specific Suroth and Forsaken stuff.
Yep.
Before we jump over to other characters.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
So, I like this Suroth versus Ishmael.
Yeah, so a little bit later.
Yeah, because right before she gets her fingernails chopped off and she gets in trouble.
Yeah.
For overstepping. Now, we didn't talk about why she gets in trouble. It's because she invaded
Atuin's Mill.
A stinky fishing village.
Right.
That she didn't have authorization.
Yeah. It was too far inland. They can't hold it, and they weren't really intending to do that.
So, like, why did she go do it?
Why did you
she's
do that?
In trouble that she went and did something away from strict orders.
Exactly.
And she sort of side glances over to Ishmael, almost like he might step in to say something about it.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't.
Right.
And then she gets her fingernails chopped off.
Yeah. Clearly called down. So that's what this follow-up meeting's going to be about.
Because she's pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Because they went there because Ishmael clearly wanted Perrin.
Right. And she said that. She's like, the reason we went there is because you.
And the guys who were hunting them and the Horn of Valir, we got to stop that.
Yeah. And now she has to pay the price.
Yes.
So, so in this Suroth meeting with the Shamael, Suroth wants to just straight up kill Turak, so the main Shanshan guy that we've seen now. Mm-hmm. And be done with it, but then Ishii calls her an idiot, and he's like, no, we're not doing that, and she threatens a Shamael, she's like, I'm the one with all the armies, the ships, the Damane, and you might be chosen, but you're not of the blood.
I think that she forgets her place.
But that's the thing, so there's...
among the evil people.
But here's the thing, maybe... It's just her concept of like channelers really is gonna skew her view of the Chosen because they're all channelers, right? Like Forsaken are channelers, but she clearly believes that all channelers should be collared.
Are animals.
Are animals, yeah,
that
and
need
like
to be kept.
And that's the women. Like we don't even know at this point what they do to male channelers.
Right.
It's probably not better. So
because we know what they do to male channelers on this continent.
Yeah, which is you get killed basically, if at best.
At best.
So it's kind of like a big question mark of her and what her stance on the Forsaken, the Chosen are.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Right away, though.
Yeah.
Ishmael calls in some blackmail.
I mean, it can't go well for Suroth. Like, Ishmael holds all the cards here.
The literal devil's lieutenant. Like, what do you think's happening?
Well, and he tells her, like, I know all your secrets, and I know why you're part of this. Like, I know why you joined, so you're threatening him, but it's just, he plays it so cool.
She forgets her place a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a really good job. Like, Ishmael plays a really great job of being cool and not ruling the dark friends that we see necessarily by like overt force
or like
like he doesn't threaten you directly.
No,
but he does. He's nice. He does, but he's like
charming.
He's charming about it.
He's charming.
Yeah,
and he's blackmailing you.
Yeah,
but he's not like screaming in your face or threatening to murder you.
Exactly,
like, but he sort of is.
You know that he can murder you, but
almost worse than murder in some cases.
Except Suroth, again, forgot her place.
Yes.
Anyways.
Okay, but then Suroth says, oh, I'm so sorry.
Never mind.
I have a gift for you. You'll be so excited about my gift.
Yes. Yeah.
It's on its way.
It's on its way. We'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we get a little reference here that Ishmael thinks that the dragon will join them, and the last battle will be written in the sky above Falm. So, little tidbit of like what may happen later.
A little foreshadowing.
That's what it's called. Mm-hmm, there is a word for that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last little scene we have is with Ishamael here that we're going to talk about.
Is when he goes and meets separately with Turak, High Lord Turak. That's
yeah.
what I wanted to talk about.
Yes, but we that plays into so he's in a dream where Lanfear pretends to be Rand.
Oh, I was going to talk about that later.
Okay. So
I want to talk about the dream later after we learn about
he gets woken up from that dream for this meeting with Turak.
Right.
So we can talk about the dream after once we can give it context.
I want to lump all the dream stuff kind of together.
Fair enough.
To make sense of what's happening.
Okay. So Ishamael, he gets woken up from a Shanshan messenger. Turak wants to have a conversation with the Ishamael. So he goes down, and then Turak asks him, hey, where are you from?
What are you?
What are you? Because you're not from here, like our people. You're not Shanshan, and you're not of the blood. You're not from where we come from. Like, you've moved up very quickly in your ranks in our society.
Yeah, you appeared in Searles' court out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he was the first to see the omens of the homecoming.
Yeah, the return. Mm-hmm. The capital R, the return.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big indication that something is at play here. He's the main Forsaken. We know that, but it seems odd that he has been able to move up so quickly with nobody asking questions.
So maybe some compulsion.
Maybe. That was one of the first questions we asked. Is like, is there compulsion happening? Some brain funkiness.
Yeah, but then it also makes sense if Suroth is a dark friend.
Yeah,
and
that she would accept him into it and help him with that.
Yeah.
So I do get that, and I do feel like Ishamael is the kind of guy who isn't going to use a weave like compulsion as like a cudgel. Like, he's not going to do it all the time.
Okay.
If he doesn't need to. He'd rather manipulate his way into scenarios like this.
I think so too.
Because there has to be some downsides. Like, you can't just compel everyone. Mm-mm. And if you did, there's got to be repercussions. That can't be a
well, and I think
perfect
it's smart
system.
too, and this is a theme throughout the books, is that we have evil people who try to infiltrate the higher up nobles, royalty of the different areas of the world.
Yeah, that's what you should do if you're evil.
If you're an evil person who wants to
take over the world. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I kind of like this plot of Ishamael being with the Shanshan.
I do. It's pretty cool.
Throws me for a loop a little, but I like it.
A little bit. You got to see. I love that his hands are in so many like cookie jars right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's doing a whole lot.
That's why he's trying to release the rest of the Forsaken so that he has delegate. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Ishamael is playing it pretty modest here. He says, no, like, I'm not the one who saw. Only the Empress in the Court of the Nine Moons, only she can see the omens.
I just love it. I just love you guys so
what
much.
They are.
And
yeah.
I love her so much.
Yeah.
And I just love you guys.
Yeah.
Okay?
And all Ishamael wants in return for the whole Horn situation is that, I don't want any favors, but just, like, listen to Suroth.
Listen to Suroth because she has a gift
She's
for
got
you.
a gift for you. And
which
we'll come back to after. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool.
Is it cool? Is that the word you want to go for?
From his perspective, I'm going to stick with it. This is from the perspective of the Shanshan and Ishamael. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool gift.
Oh, I hate. Okay. I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay. Let's switch characters here.
Okay.
Let's go to two people who are having a real good time.
Is it Perrin and Elias?
I was going to say Rand and Moraine.
Oh, okay.
Because it's the pickup from last episode.
Oh, yeah, we're literally running.
Yeah, so just as a reminder, Lanfear is Selene. Mm-hmm. Selene is Lanfear.
Mm-hmm. They are the same.
She is the worst Forsaken.
Most dangerous.
She is the crazy ex-girlfriend.
Because in my opinion, she's the best Forsaken.
She's pretty great, and I still stand by the relationship.
I love Lanfear.
Yeah.
As a character, I love her. She's probably still my favorite character in the books.
It's the boots. I know, we all know it.
She doesn't have the boots in the book.
No, but she has them in the TV show.
But you know what? She is the boots personified. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this is pretty great because we get to see like meek Selene actually come into
little bit.
Yeah.
She can turn the switch.
Into Lanfear.
Yeah. Okay, so Moraine just stabbed her through the chest and then slit her throat, and then Rand and Moraine ran off into the woods because we gotta go.
And Rand is still like, I can't believe you killed her. You killed her.
You killed my girlfriend.
And she's like, literally impossible. That wound will barely slow her down.
And she's right. So we get a really cool scene, and I'm going to have like 100 more questions about this too, but like mechanics of it. But we see Lanfear healing herself. Yeah, we get the black specks floating
100%. So
across
even
her
if
eyes. Yeah.
There's some doubt about whether or not we see the black specks in her eyes.
Yeah.
At the end of last episode, we 100% get it here.
You get a lot more stuff happening.
She's definitely doing some sort of magic.
The neck wound is resealing itself.
Yes.
And then it's nice that she cleans up the blood too.
Off herself.
Yeah. So like that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that she's so not happy with Moraine.
She's like, bitch.
yeah, it's so good. So she's taking off after them. And then we get this, I love this stable scene too. So Moraine and Rand show up at the stable very quickly.
Yeah.
Moraine
is all frazzled and is like, listen, we gotta go.
We gotta go faster. We gotta go faster than this. There's 4 horses here, but guess what? There's only Rand, Moraine, and this stable girl.
Stable woman,
sure. And
that's what the subtitle said.
Oh, stable woman. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. She's older. That's fair.
She's for sure.
That's fair.
She's not a girl.
Well, okay. It feels better when she dies, I guess. If she's older, I don't know.
And nothing feels good about any. She doesn't die, actually.
Oh, right. Well, okay.
So
nope.
Okay, she doesn't.
We don't see her.
Nope,
but
she doesn't die.
Her mouth is sealed.
Yeah, she doesn't die though.
Okay.
So okay, hold on.
Oh man.
Okay, reel it in. You're getting way too excited.
It's your fault. Okay.
Okay.
We got to kill a horse first. Moraine is so savage.
The most ruthless.
I love it. I love how ruthless Moraine is.
And at least she's consistent.
Yes, that's very true.
Because this is very reminiscent of Rand's reaction when Moraine kills the ferryman at Terran Ferry.
The ferryman died. I wouldn't say that. I'd say he killed himself by doing something dumb.
She knew he was gonna go back and try to. She knew. She gave him the option.
That's not this episode's argument.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Anyway,
she is consistent.
It's the ruthlessness.
Yes, she's okay sacrificing other people's lives
and horses.
Yeah.
It's almost. It feels worse.
It's just property damage.
Because I actually forgot.
Right.
And I was like, oh no.
And she doesn't hesitate.
She murders a horse.
Yeah.
She murders that horse.
Yeah.
That good horsey actor just lies right down.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a good horse actor. No horses were harmed in the making of this episode.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but no.
So the reason for it, we can't give Lanfear a way to follow, so that's why we gotta kill this horse. And then off they go. There's a lot of urgency.
Yeah. But we're taking the lady with us.
Yes.
So she can bring her horses back. So the lady thinks.
Yeah.
We're commandeering your horses on behalf of the White Tower. It's very Grand Theft Auto.
Very. Is it? Is that what
Grand Theft
I'm pretty
horse.
sure Grand Theft Auto, you don't say I'm commandeering it on behalf of anyone. You're saying...
I'm a criminal and I'm taking your... Get out of your car, I'm taking it.
Pretty sure you just pull them out, right?
Okay, well this is Grand Theft
I was never allowed to play that when I was a kid, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Well, that's
no
so
way.
funny. That's so funny.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I didn't even have any video game systems, but I wasn't allowed to play it at friends' houses either. So
how would they know?
Well, because I listened to.
That's of course where I
listen to rules. I obey the rules.
Well, that's why you didn't have any friends.
Yeah. That's why I read Wheel of Time.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Actually.
Okay.
We all got a little bit of a deeper understanding of you at this
point. Little bit. Okay.
Okay.
Back to it.
Okay, Grand Theft Horse.
Grand Theft Horse. We steal the horses. We get her to come along and say, hey, you can bring the horses back. But in fact, it's actually because we're probably going to use you as a diversion very shortly.
So Lanfear's following them.
Yeah, well, Lanfear, and she shows up to find the 4th horse dead. And she gives, kudos.
Moraine some credit.
She gives her points. That's great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She's been tricked.
Yeah.
So some dude has the unfortunate coincidence of riding up and asking the most beautiful lady if she needs some help.
Just and it could be anyone. He's just a good guy.
He's just a dude.
Do you
He's
need help?
Hey, lady, what are you doing out here? And she's like, where does this road lead? And he's like, Tarvalon. And she's like, damn
All roads lead to Tarvalon.
That's not how roads work.
Yeah, that's still a great joke.
So
I love it.
But then she just explodes the dude's head.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay.
It's like we're doing that.
Oh, horses are so slow. I can't think of anything slower than a horse.
It's still a funny line too.
Because you tried walking?
You were just walking for I don't know how long. But
running, that's
right?
slower. But it's not a flying car, you know?
It's not a flying car or an airplane or a jetpack or whatever.
Whatever.
There's a whole lot of things in that Age of Legends. So.
Okay, but now Lanfear is going to catch up.
Well, yeah, and she passes by them because Moiraine...
they're so sneaky.
They're hiding on the side of the road. Super good. And
So
Moiraine thinks it's
sneaky.
going to be like 2 days before she finds out. Like, no, man.
She says, if we're lucky.
If we're lucky. That's true. Okay, we have an important piece of information here.
You know why, though?
Why?
Moiraine trusted the lady to
Yeah.
not stop.
Oh, man, that was a bad idea.
That's the lady's fault.
It's that, you know, I also...
Moiraine gave her direct instructions.
That's true.
To ride for Tarvalin and not stop.
I blame the lady, too.
And then the lady stopped.
She did.
She
That's
cared
true.
more about the horses' lives than her own.
That's true. I thought you said she's not dead.
Well, she's not, but her life sucks now.
Yeah, well, how's she going to eat?
Oh, shit.
She's going to die. There's
Well,
no way
you
she...
can cut it. It's just
Oh, my
skin.
goodness. I don't even want to... No. I regret bringing that up.
Makeshift surgery.
I regret it. I regret so many things. Okay, we have important news.
Yeah, you're right. She
We have
can't eat.
important news. Moiraine tells Rand while they're hiding in the bush and then they leave. Guess what? We didn't actually defeat the Dark One at the Eye of the World. We actually set Ishamael, who's the leader of the Forsaken, free.
And now he's setting all the other Forsaken free.
Right.
And he's like, oh, no.
Oh, no. This is bad.
And then he says, what if he manages to release all the Forsaken?
Then
We've lost
we
the
probably
last battle.
lose.
We lose.
Yeah.
Because they're all evil supervillains.
Yeah, right. And they're all of them. So,
Yes.
okay. So now let's catch Lanfear up to the stable woman. And, okay.
So the lady's like,
Yeah.
I was supposed to go all the way, but like, I gotta rest the horses.
Gotta rest him. Yeah.
And Lanfear does a little bit of talking to herself.
Yeah.
I gotta remember, he's still so young.
Right.
He's so young.
She does ask, was it the Aes Sedai who set up the trick or was it the boy?
Mm-hmm.
And clearly it was...
Aes Sedai.
Yeah, it was Moiraine.
Obviously.
Yeah. But
And-
she's more ruthless than Lanfear thought.
Which I really loved her words there because in my notes before this happened,
You said ruthless
when she killed
before.
the horse, I
Yeah.
wrote down ruthless, just like Taryn Ferry.
Yeah.
And so I love that Lanfear says she's more ruthless than I imagined. And I was like, that is the right word for her.
Game respects game, you know?
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
then we get the Lanfear sealing her mouth shut. We're not going to talk about it anymore. I don't want to comment on that.
Well,
I don't want to hear
I said
it.
this in our recap.
You're still talking about it.
Well, it's a la Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, or The Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, The Matrix.
I hated it there too.
Oh, you don't like it? Okay.
No, it's terrible.
Except
Nightmares.
in Hocus Pocus, it's like your mouth is just sewed shut, and he got to
That's worse. Oh, I want to stop talking about
cut
this.
it open, and then he has real bad breath because he's
I'm just going to plug my ears and you
been
you
dead for
nod
so
when you're
long.
done. Okay, you're done.
yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
Skip
Moiraine
scenes.
and Rand
They make it a Kyrian.
back to
Hooray.
Kyrian,
Yep.
and we're going back to the family house
Yeah.
to meet our nephew
Right.
and play cards with him. That's why we went back.
Okay, so here's first off, we can't go to sleep. She tells him that because she talks about Tel'aran'rhiod, the world of dreams. She's a master of it, and the moment he sleeps, Lanfear's going to have Rand.
I love this introduction to the world of dreams.
It's pretty good.
It's very good.
It's like boom, all the weird dream stuff. Boom, Tel'aran'rhiod,
Perfect.
world of dreams.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in this episode, and there's a lot more to still talk about, but it's so spot on to the books. Like, there's a lot of deviation in a lot of different places.
Sure.
But this episode felt very specific to the books.
Yeah,
And
cool.
the book lore.
All right, so now let's introduce Barthanes Damodred, who is the nephew.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. he's so
He's twerpy.
he is a little twerpy, and it seems like
He's
he
gonna
has
marry the queen.
and it's like a real connection with Moiraine. Like I feel like there's a genuine relationship there where she kind of likes him because there's like some
I bet she was nice to him as a kid.
yeah. Well, the last time she says the last time they saw each other was like 20 years ago, But
so
Barthanes
are we
is like a
assuming-
little jokester, and then Moiraine like gives it back a little bit.
Yeah,
Like there's
yeah.
some playful banter.
So we're assuming he's like, what, 30 and...
Mid-20s maybe? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he was 5 or 10. Last
Yeah,
time we
like
saw-
somewhere around
okay.
there I'd say is like reasonable.
And
to...
so he remembers
Yeah.
his aunt, who he really likes.
his cool aunt, yeah.
Yeah,
So I can imagine that. And you get to be the cool aunt
I guess so.
who can do magic, I guess. I don't know what that relationship was like, but it seems like there was like a real real connection.
You know who's not that excited about her showing back up?
Lady Anvir?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You shouldn't
Yeah.
have come back here.
Yeah,
You got
why
us
are you
all
here?
mixed up in your mess.
And then Moraine's like, oh, me coming back here was a terrible idea. I might ruin everything. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I actually do like that she ends up being quite vulnerable with her sister.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
been a moment. Like the last time we saw Moraine vulnerable was probably when she was with Swan.
Yeah.
And so
There's not many people she would open up to.
she would actually open up to.
Mhm.
And even when she came at first, she was really curt with Anvir and
Yep.
really wasn't open with her.
Yeah.
And here now she's like tired, she's emotional, she's breaking down a little bit.
I mean, and Anvir even calls her out on it and
Yeah.
says, you always have a plan, and right now it looks like you don't have a plan, and that doesn't happen. So, like, something must be not going so well for you. And, like, just the fact that she calls her out on that so bad,
Yeah.
maybe that
And
helps.
she gives her own advice.
That classic. That's because my advice is always the best advice, so of course it works for me too.
Mm-hmm. Because Moraine says, Rand needs my protection.
Yeah.
And then Anvir goes, does he though?
Yeah.
Does he need it?
Well, I get what she's saying now in the context. I think in our initial reactions, I was like, yeah, of course she should protect Rand from Lanfear. But in the reality of the protection, Lanfear doesn't want to kill Rand.
And that's what Moraine figures out.
Yeah, which is why it's like, yeah,
You've
go see
been
her.
with her for months.
Yeah.
And instead of murdering you,
She doesn't
she's
want to murder you.
clearly in love with you and wants to do you lots.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's trying to win you still, and we got some time with that still,
right.
probably.
So we should probably utilize that.
Go, Rand. Do your duty.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go be dominatrixed in the dream world.
Is that a verb?
I just made it one.
There you go. Okay.
Dominated, I think.
Dominated.
Is probably the actual thing people say.
Maybe. Okay, so let's do a couple more cutscenes here. So we have Rand and Barthanes playing cards
Yep.
for a little bit. Cute, good, building a relationship. I do love also because Barthanes immediately assumes that Rand is her warder.
Yeah. And he's like, no. But then she's so annoyed
I know.
that he said words out loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she wasn't going to say yes, but she also wasn't going to deny it.
Yeah.
Because she's like, yes, that does make the
And
most
it's like,
sense.
this is Rand.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to introduce the people.
Stop saying all the true things
I
all at
know.
once to people you just met.
I know, but we haven't just met Barthanes. That's
Yes,
fine.
we did. We just met him in the...
We just met him, but she know
No,
but Rand
just met him.
Rand needs to stop saying all the things.
Especially when we're on the run from a Forsaken.
Right.
And we're also trying to keep her family protected.
Right.
So, yep.
Okay, so Moraine decides, okay, Rand, go to sleep. Figure out what Lanfear's plan is, and then we'll go from there.
And then I'll wake you up if it looks like you're in trouble. And he's like, you're exhausted. Are you going to fall asleep? And she's like, no, I could never. And I'm like, are
could
you
you,
about
though?
to fall asleep?
Could you, though?
Yeah.
Classic thing to say before you fall asleep. Hold on. We do have a little bit of backstory here with Lanfear and the dragon. So,
Okay.
apparently,
Oh,
Lanfear loved the dragon, and he loved her back before the dragon met his wife.
this is so dramatic.
And then she
Even
became a
this
dark
telling-
friend.
Even this telling
Then let me
of the
tell
backstory.
it. Then let me tell it. She only became a dark friend after he broke her heart, and she wants to get him back.
And he married someone else.
Yeah.
So this is literally Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Right.
Who went to the dark side to try to win
Right.
her ex back, who went and married someone else.
Right.
So,
I'm
that's
not seeing
and
what's wrong with that.
Feels a little unreliable narrator.
Right. I mean, and this is a story that Moraine is telling, and we don't know
from
that this is
3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Lanfear, I'm just saying, I like the relationship so far. Like, in terms of someone who's committed to Rand, she's committed.
Sure. But she's also committed to the Dark One.
Well, you know.
Who Rand is committed to defeating.
Well, maybe. Well, has he though? Has he committed to it?
I think so.
Okay.
At this point, yeah.
So, can we hear what the dark has to
Yeah.
offer?
Okay, but I think at this point, I want to talk about the stuff that happens in the dream world before this sequence,
Okay.
where Lanfear is waiting in the dream world.
Right. Okay. Now you want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because this is the dream.
And we get shifty stuff happening because she's
Yeah.
disguised as Rand laying in bed.
Yeah.
And then Ishmael
Is lying
shows
beside
up.
him.
Yeah. Him.
Yeah.
And I've actually seen, so there are some bloopers from
Oh,
season
yeah.
2.
Yes.
And these two actors
there are some great
laying
bloopers.
beside each other, like just so oh my gosh.
And also the Lanfear Shamil conversation that they have.
Like,
There's some
she
fantastic.
can't get her words out.
Mhm.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So if you have an opportunity to see the bloopers,
and she's
do
like,
that.
"What do I say? What's my line?" And then he like tells her her line. It like takes you completely out of the entire scene, but it's like it's pretty funny to see the back stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got Rand sleeping, is Shamil in bed beside him, who turns out to actually be Lanfear, like Rand is Lanfear. And we get this like very interesting conversation. So Lanfear was never very subtle in her actions. As Shamil says, hey, people blame us for breaking the world, but 3,000 years later,
never fixed it.
Nobody picked up the pieces. I agree with him. on that point.
I like medium agree.
Okay.
Because it's really challenging. Like when you look at the trajectory of just human existence.
Sure.
Like real human history, not like this fantasy world human history.
Same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Go on though.
Well, because
Wheel of Time.
we're just a turning of the wheel.
Wheel of Time, you know?
Yeah,
okay.
I get it.
Okay.
With lack of technology, there's lack of advancement.
Yeah.
And so when an entire society that's super technological breaks down and then there's not, like, you can't rebuild.
You gotta start back from
you
scratch,
gotta
basically.
restart from sheep herding.
Yeah. Well, I always think about, like,
farming
if
and
I was thrown
horse
back,
and
like,
carts.
2,000 years, what
Yeah.
skills do I have to survive? None. It's like, oh, I'm pretty good on a computer. What's a computer? Well, we're not even close to that. We
Yeah.
are so far away from that.
Yeah, and you're like, my back is bad.
Yeah,
I
it's like,
can't farm.
I can't do manual labor.
Ugh. Build a house. What? Out of what? These trees?
How do you
How? Right? So, like,
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe, all right, anyways.
Yeah. So, I see his point,
Yeah.
but then also just from, like, what I know of human history.
We're lucky we got here once.
Well, the most technological advancement has happened in the last 200 years.
Yeah.
As opposed to
I would say like the last like 50 years even.
Well, even.
Yeah.
But realistically.
Yeah. I
Right?
get what you're saying.
And so, like, compared to the last 10,000 years. Like,
Right.
So, in. Yeah.
I get it. Okay,
Yeah.
so moving on. I do like that in the conversation when you're only dealing with bad guys, they called the Dark One the Great Lord. So that's always like an indicator.
Ooh, yeah.
If
And-
you, like,
well,
look for
and
the Great
same
Lord.
with Suroth, who calls the Forsaken the Chosen.
The Chosen versus the
versus
Forsaken.
the Forsaken.
Yeah, just a little
Yeah.
switching of terminology
so
there.
the Great Lord, yeah.
Something to look out for. So now Shamil's like, hey, Lanfear, did Rand learn about your little innkeeper thing you got going on there? And apparently it's Moraine also found out about that now. So if Shamil doesn't believe in just killing people, he thinks desperation is a powerful motivator, and he like gives us a lot of insight into his intentions and then tells us that he knows Lanfear's intentions too.
Yeah, which
So-
is she just wants Rand.
It seems that way.
We all know it. Moraine knows it.
Yeah. And the funny quirkiness of like the, hey, Lanfear, are you going to betray me? And she's like, yeah,
Obviously.
of course.
Yeah.
And then he knows it. They both know it. And there's like a mutual understanding.
Yeah. I also like the conversation of other members
Yes.
of our Forsaken group.
Yes.
Because she says, why me first?
Why'd you, yes.
Like, why me out of everybody?
Mhm.
Like, we're all sealed away in our, what did you call it last time? Celestial prisons?
Genie lamp?
Genie lamp, yeah.
I don't know.
You had a term for it that I liked.
Oh, good for me. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what I said. There's no way to know. Cosmic prison?
Cosmic prison, maybe?
Right. I think that's what the genie says.
Okay, I think Celestial's nice too, but
Sure.
yeah, Cosmic prison.
Okay.
So, interdimensional, perhaps?
Maybe. Could be.
We're not quite sure.
Yeah.
So, she says, why me? And he's like, well, obviously, because you want to connect yourself to Rand, like the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
You're in love with him, and I'm going to use that.
Yes. Yeah. So we have some more names and descriptions.
Okay, so she's like, well, obviously, Mogedion
Yes, is
insane.
Yeah.
Grandel is an idiot, a vain idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And the boys
Yes.
couldn't execute a plan even if they were compelled
Yes. All right. So
or under compulsion.
under compulsion. Yeah. So I definitely want to see who the boys are. And it's just like such a funny dynamic of the Chosen, the Forsaken. They have this inner dynamic of there definitely is some contention between them on who thinks who's the best.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, there's got to be some competition there amongst all the bad guys. It's going to be so good when we get more. I just can't wait for more.
Yeah, the Forsaken interactions are probably my favorite thing that happens in the books.
Yeah.
So
like you always want more,
you want
and
more.
I can't
want
wait
more.
for it.
Yeah.
So bring that to me.
Yeah.
All right, then we get a little bit more philosophical stuff. Ishamael actually believes in the dark because he wants to basically stop the wheel. He wants to stop everything. That's his whole thing. He doesn't just want to take over and rule.
Well,
he
it's
wants
also
to
not
end...
him. It's the dark. The Great Lord wants that.
Yeah, so he wants to end existence entirely. Like he wants there to be nothing. So just like let's keep that in mind on what his what his motivations are.
Yeah.
And then Ishamael asks Lanfear, how does this dragon, so Rand, measure up to the version that they knew previously?
Yeah.
The Luce Theron.
Yeah,
So.
she likes him better because he's not in love with another woman.
Yeah. He's softer. He takes no pride in his birthright and he rejects his power.
Yeah.
But not in
He's
love with
young-
another woman.
Young and dumb.
There you go. That's how she likes him.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so Lanfear, asks him about the girls, and Ishamael says he's only just collected them. So we're going to jump to that plot line right away.
Mm-hmm.
And he says one craves power and the other fears it.
Yeah. Not even Elaine.
Yeah.
Egwene.
Yeah, I was going to
Egwene,
say,
Egwene.
you're going to win points if you get it,
Egwene
but
craves it.
There you go.
Nynaeve fears it.
there you go. Okay.
And he doesn't know that Elaine is accidentally on her way.
Yeah,
So how about that?
Let's go find out about that. Okay, so that was all for the Forsaken
Okay,
stuff.
can we jump to the end sequence to just wrap up Rand Lanfear?
Yeah, let's do that.
Moraine?
Okay.
So Moraine is like, hey, listen, Rand, you need to fall asleep
Mm-hmm.
because you need to go and find out what Lanfear wants.
Go find out the plan.
And so he's like, okay, I'm pretty tired. But he falls asleep like immediately.
Yeah.
Like that's not someone with anxiety.
Or he's just really good at sleeping.
Oh my gosh, I'm not that good at sleeping.
I'm pretty good at sleeping.
Yeah, you are actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like instant. Especially when someone's like watching you. I'd be under so much pressure. I'd be like, oh my God, what if I can't fall asleep?
Yeah.
And then what about all the stupid things I said yesterday?
Right.
And then what about what might happen tomorrow?
And also, like, hey, once you fall asleep, guess who's going to be there waiting for you to get you?
Oh my gosh.
It's a monster.
Yeah, like I could not just
Yeah.
lay down and comfortably just close my eyes asleep.
Yeah.
But, you know, TV.
Right.
So
We got to move this along.
closes his eyes, he's asleep, and instantly in the dream world, attached to a wheel
I love it.
without a shirt on.
Oh, he is looking buff.
And this was in almost every trailer and teaser and
Yeah.
anything that had to do with season 2.
Did everybody call it like World of Dreams?
Lots of people said that.
Yeah, because like where else is crazy? Where are crazy things going to be?
Yeah.
World of
Like,
Dreams.
This doesn't make sense. What is this even?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then we have Lanfear sitting in a chair,
Yeah.
looking great.
Yeah. Whole headpiece, boots,
Leather.
whole thing. It's a whole get up.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And she goes, finally.
Right.
Because she's just been waiting and
waiting for it to be here.
Yeah, you gotta fall asleep eventually.
It's good.
Yeah.
I do love it.
Now, before we jump into the other plot lines that
Yeah, we
went on,
got 2 more big ones.
Yeah, let's take a real quick break.
Okay.
And then we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Leah, and we're from the Grown Up Stuff podcast.
And just in time for tax season, on this week's episode, we're chatting with CPA Lisa Green Lewis about how small businesses can tackle their taxes using TurboTax Business.
A Forbes study mentioned that a whopping 93% of small businesses overpay their taxes. And 17% of Gen Zers believed that you could write off any expense as a business expense. So
Can't blame them.
it's really important to do your taxes right.
Listen to Grown Up Stuff on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Okay, so we are back, and we're gonna jump into Perrin's arc for this episode.
Yeah, this one's my favorite.
Is it?
It's so good.
I actually really liked it.
Okay.
I loved it because I love Avienda as a character, and I love when Perrin does things.
Yeah, he has a very active role here.
He's not like mopey Eeyore.
Yeah.
He's actively fighting for what he cares about, and I love it.
Yeah. And him just on his own here. Okay, let's get into it. So first off, we got to open with he's still with Hopper, Elias, the wolves right now because he thinks they're going one way. Turns out, nope. Not going that way.
Okay, so now it's been a year and a half. Are you buying the fact that Perrin is so bad at directions and tracking and stuff that he has just no idea that they're walking in a circle?
Yeah.
I don't think I bought.
I feel like
I
he's
didn't
not
buy it as much.
I feel like he's not that great at directions, and he was he believed Elias enough to trust the wolves to the point when it's like, oh man. He probably should have been paying more attention, but he wasn't.
Right. And
because
he
was going with it
before, but if you're telling me we're walking west in the middle of a forest at nighttime, I'm gonna believe you.
Yeah.
But
well, because he has to. He has no other choice.
You think that he would have some sense of how to travel and he's from the woods.
Maybe. I don't know. These woods are different. These trees are different kinds of trees or something, maybe.
No, I just think that he shouldn't be as bad.
He was caught up with the thrilling conversation.
He's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Why are we back here?
Yeah.
This is the village we just got captured from. Why did you leave me back this way?
Yeah.
Unless he was all disoriented from the being captured and stuff.
That's true too. I don't know. It's one of those things that it's like it's good enough. I don't need a big, long, detailed explanation of why he doesn't know where he is.
Okay, fine.
I can relate to that. I never know where I am.
Not smart, though. Yeah, but you also aren't some, like, blacksmith woodsman who
right.
grew up in the wilderness.
It could be, though, and it doesn't matter. Okay, move on.
Okay. You know what's not smart? To yell at Elias.
Oh, yeah, the wolves did not like that.
Oh, my God, don't do that.
Don't yell at Elias. Don't do it.
No. And Perrin's like, I'm going to go find my friends.
I'm going to find them. It's like, okay, man.
And he says, they're not your pack.
Yeah.
They're your pack. Your wife wasn't your pack.
Mm-hmm.
We're your pack.
Perrin's not into this whole wolf thing yet,
he's
100%.
He's not quite.
Not quite there.
Because he's like, humans are still my people. Like,
yeah.
They're still my friends. I can acknowledge this wolf thing, but I'm not just writing off all civilization.
He's like, what do you miss, Elias? And he's like, beer.
Yeah, but like, even that, he's like,
yeah.
I don't really care, though, because Perrin says, well, it's not very nice to drink alone. And then he goes, I'm never alone.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I wouldn't like that.
Horrifying. Okay. All right. So we have Perrin heading
back to a Tuon's Mill.
Back to a Tuon's Mill because now he's going to go. He enters the town. We actually get a vision of a body in a cage.
It's Uno.
And it's Uno. And we find out that Uno didn't even get like a burial. He's just like put in a cage as probably some sort of show of force.
Something.
Yeah, like a sign for others to know not to go against the Shanshan.
I guess.
It seems pretty harsh.
I have some questions about these cages.
Sure.
When we get to them.
Okay. Because we're at them now, so I mean you can ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions.
Okay. Yeah, so he walks up and he sees there's a woman in a cage.
Okay.
It's Avienda, we find that out later.
My first question is actually for Guy Roberts.
Okay.
Who plays Uno.
What was it like being in the cage?
I want to know if he actually had to be in the cage, if he's credited for being in this episode.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Because I never asked him that.
Yeah. Or is that just like some sort of like...
I actually forgot. Or is it some sort of like Uno dummy?
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
With an Uno wig.
Sure. And Uno clothes.
Yeah,
Uno eye patch.
Did you have to get in a cage and like act to be dead?
Yeah.
To be in this episode? Or no?
Or no. Yeah, those are the options.
I didn't even... So if I ever get the chance...
You ever see him again, you remember that question.
I will.
Okay.
Now, my second question is, what's happening where we're putting people in cages and why? Because if the Shanshan are putting people in cages as a way of being like, oh, look at this guy, he's dead because of us.
Right.
It seems like Avienda's in a cage because the White Cloaks caught her and put her in a cage.
Yeah.
So who's responsible for the people in the cages?
Well, the Shanshan aren't here anymore.
I know.
So the White Cloaks currently.
Okay, so just like lots of different groups of people put people in cages?
Sure. It's a miniature prison for a very dangerous person.
I suppose. It's also like suspended.
That's what the Aiel are to the White Cloaks, is they're very dangerous people.
Okay.
So they lock her in there because where else are you going to put her? Right? Like, that's what it's got to be. I didn't think you were going to get stuck on that.
I'm just thinking.
Okay.
I'm just thinking it through because Matt also came across a dead Aiel
In a cage. Yeah.
At a different place.
It's a good way to hold people prisoner. You can't go anywhere when you're in a cage.
Okay, so just...
See, here's the thing. They can't fit through the bars, so they're stuck in the cage.
I understand.
You got that part, right? Like, they're trapped inside.
I get the point of a cage.
I just want to make sure.
So it's just that, like, different groups are putting different people in cages in the same location. It's not the people of Atuan's Mill who are like, I love putting people in cages.
No.
But maybe.
It seems like a lot of people do
Everybody does it.
Everyone does it.
They love it.
Yeah. It's a miniature prison.
Okay,
Like,
let's get to what's going on here.
Okay.
So there's an Aiel in a cage.
Yeah.
And Perrin happens across it.
Yes. Okay. So a guy, who we don't know yet, comes up to warn Perrin not to trust the Aiel because the last person who got close got his arm broken.
Right. And I don't know if I picked this up the first time I watched this episode.
Sure.
But this is the place, because I know that Uno's in the cage, and you get that, and you're like, that's Atuan's Mill. But then once you get there, and we get the Avienda stuff, and we get the White Cloak stuff, I almost forget that this is the same village that they were just attacked by the Seanchan in.
Well, and I mean, we just heard that Suroth wasn't supposed to be here. They came in, did what they needed to do because the Shamael wanted, and then they left.
And they can't hold it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so...
It leads to some very interesting conversations with the White Cloaks here and the people of Atuan's Mill. So there's a couple things.
Like the innkeeper, yeah.
Like the innkeeper, yeah. So the guy who's here to tell Perrin not to go near the Aiel says, hey, there's a curfew here, you're going to have to stay the night, and then shows him to an inn. And then this guy recognizes Perrin as he must be from the Two Rivers based on, like, his clothing.
And his ring.
So it's just kind of very interesting because people from the Two Rivers think they're from, like, this small, tiny town, but, like, they have very noticeable characteristics.
Yeah.
Like, the stubborn attitudes, the clothes.
Yeah.
Like...
So what I do like, though, is the update for what's happening in this village since the Seanchan left and the White Cloaks have come in.
Yeah, okay.
So we have the Children of the Light.
Yes.
The White Cloaks.
Yeah.
And this guy who's talking to Perrin is Dane Bornhald.
Yeah.
Or Child Bornhald.
Child Bornhald. We find out his name is Dane a little bit later.
Dane. And we also get that Perrin quickly needs to go get a room.
Yeah.
Because curfew.
Right.
And the questioners and Eamon Valda show up.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a couple.
He is not dead.
Couple really big things here. So Eamon Valda, guy who tortured Perrin and Egwene, not dead.
And the guy who just eats whole little birds.
Yeah, that guy. He does that too. Yep. Now, Child Dane Bornhald is the son of Jeffrey Bornhald, who's the guy who was in charge, who we got to see in season 1.
The one who was like actually kind of nice to Moraine.
Kind of nice to Moraine, and then had a little spat with Valda. Yeah.
So it's very clear that the regular White Cloaks
there's a little
don't
contention.
Like the questioner White Cloaks.
Yeah, because they just kind of come in and torture people and question them.
Well, listen, the more questions I ask, the more answers I get, and everything's confusing around here, and I don't know anything that's going on, so I have to ask lots of questions.
And I love Dane's little cheap shot. He's like, oh, I heard there might be wolves out, huh? How's that one? Because clearly that has been getting around in
little
stories.
Little White Cloak
White Cloak gossip there.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And then we get a tip that Avienda is one of those magnificent Aiel warriors.
Yeah.
Because she took down like 11 of them or something
a whole
like that.
bunch of them. So now there's a little side conversation that happens when Perrin is like hiding because he is hiding in the inn, trying not to be seen by Valda because that would be just the worst thing. And the innkeeper says, because it's a new innkeeper, there was a lady working it before, and Perrin's like, where did she go? And the new innkeeper says, well, she followed the caravan that took her granddaughter, and then explains that the Children of the Light pushed the Seanchan out a few days ago, but he says that they're not as bad as you think, like as long as you swear the oath.
The Seanchan
are not as bad as long as you swear the oath.
It's worse that the White Cloaks are here.
Yeah. So it's like that kind of puts it in perspective too, that for the average common people, they'll go along with the terribleness of the Seanchan because
all you have to do is swear the oaths. All you have to do is swear the oaths.
Yeah. As long as you're not a woman who can channel or related to one.
Right.
Probably. So.
And now another point that's interesting with all of this is that Valda says we're going to push our enemies back to the sea.
Yeah.
So he sees the Shanshan as their enemies. And so for us to have the same enemies as the White Cloaks,
It's very confusing.
it's more moral ambiguity.
It's like, should we team up with the White Cloaks? No.
No, of course not. They suck, right?
the worst.
Especially Valda. Like, he's ugh.
Team up with the Shanshan to destroy the White Cloaks and then push the
Which is
Shanshan
interesting
back.
because they both have similarities where they're both fighting for the light.
Right?
But then they both
And they
think
both
each
hate
other...
Wemanukan Channel.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that the Shanshan don't hate Wemanukan Channel.
Right.
I just think that they like to use them as weapons.
That's fair. I get that.
And I think the White Cloaks are scared of them
Sure.
more than anything.
Yeah. There's parallels. Close.
Right.
They-
So
they come close.
The enemy of my enemy
We're all enemies.
of my enemy
Everyone's enemies.
is actually probably my enemy.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's
No
the same.
one's a friend.
No one's my friend.
Yeah.
I don't have any
Except
friends.
for Avienda.
Avienda. That's my
Avienda and
friend.
Perrin, new best
Okay.
friends. Two best friends that anyone did have.
Yeah, okay, I want to get to this. So now we have Perrin sneaking around in the middle of the night, trying to make sure he isn't caught, which he does a bad job of it. But he goes to the IL woman in the cage, and he just starts freeing her. And she kind of seems to take it in stride.
She's like, I don't get it.
Yeah, one
What's
wetlander
wrong
puts
with
me in a
you?
cage,
Yeah.
one takes me out. What a strange place this is.
Okay, so she's having a difficult time with this world where not every single person has the same moral code or
Yeah.
same social code.
Yeah.
So she's from a society where everybody is raised and taught to have the same moral or social code.
Yeah, and this is different.
And
That
this
would be
is different.
confusing.
One wetlander puts me in a cage and one takes me out.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, Perrin doesn't think people should be in cages.
Right.
All right, I love the descriptions, like their introductions. So Avienda says, I'm Avienda of the 9 Valleys Sept of the Tardad Aiel. I'm Fardaris May. My water is yours. That's kind of like a respectful thing. And then he's like, I'm Perrin Ibarra.
Yeah.
That's
it.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, he could be like blacksmith of the two rivers.
Yeah,
Like he could have.
you could have made up a few more titles. It's just such a funny little tidbit there.
Yeah.
But,
Again,
yeah.
we're learning more about the Aiel.
Exactly.
And their septs and clans and culture and
All that good stuff.
societies.
It's a tidbit here. Maybe more to come later.
Okay, so
Maybe it'll make sense.
one thing that we get to see here is all the White Cloaks are like, oh no, she's escaping. We got to take her down.
Yeah.
And she puts her veil up over her face.
Yes.
Because Aiel veil their faces to fight.
Right. I think we had Tom Maryland say something like that
Ooh, like in season
in
1?
season 1 because they were talking about the Aiel threatening, and Tom says the Aiel veil their faces. That's how you know if they don't have their face veiled, they're not gonna they're not gonna attack you.
Yeah, and then she's like, you want to dance, Perrin Ibarra?
Yeah.
Like, she's like super into fighting.
I do love it.
And then I think it's Dane who yells out, attack her all at once!
Yeah, everyone all together
because
now.
she'll take you individually if you try one by one.
Yeah, this is such a cool fight scene too.
Okay, great fight scene.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure it's all perfectly choreographed.
it is. It's amazing.
It's another night fight that I'm sure was hard to shoot.
Yeah, it's just very reminiscent of the season 1 Aiel fight scene that we saw with the one lady in the cold open with Rand being born.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Because I was thinking it was reminiscent of the fight with the Shanshan at nighttime in the same place.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah.
like, the choreographed night shoot.
Yeah. No, I just
Fight
mean the
scene.
style of fighting
Oh, with the
with
woman.
the Aiel woman
Yes.
fighting. Very kick-ass.
Yeah, okay. So they both take everybody down
They win. Perrin doesn't let her kill Dane.
with an axe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's going to use an axe. It doesn't matter what she was going to
I
kill
know,
him with.
but I think that's important to
Yeah.
note.
I think it was his axe.
Yeah.
Like Dane's.
Oh, was it?
I think it was Dane's axe.
Battle axe or something?
Yeah.
Okay, so he says, this guy shared his water with you.
Mm-hmm.
It would be wrong to kill him. He's a good dude. Let's just leave.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important
Okay.
for Dane to really clock this Two Rivers guy
Right.
as a good guy.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're going to cut away from that, and we have a little bit later on, we've got Perrin, Avienda, and Hopper all sharing a meal.
Love it.
Love this one.
Oh, yeah, because we forgot to talk about how Hopper followed him.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm not leaving you, bud.
Yeah, Hopper didn't get involved in the fight.
No, he didn't.
Didn't need to. That's fine. But then we have Avienda explaining a little bit about wetlanders call it the waste, like where the Aiel are from.
Which is essentially just the desert.
Desert, yeah.
So she calls this place with rivers and trees.
The wetlands.
The wetlands.
Yeah.
And she's from a very desert place.
That the wetlanders call the waste.
The waste.
They call it the threefold land because it's a shaping stone to make us, a testing ground to prove our worth, and a punishment for the sin. But nobody remembers the sin because it was so long ago.
And we just live there now.
And we just live there
deal
now.
with it.
To do the other stuff too.
Yeah.
So they've left the waste, the Aiel have left to search for the Kara
Some
Karn.
of them.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
not every single Aiel.
Yeah, okay.
But they've left the waste to search for the Kara Karn, the chief of chiefs.
Chief of chiefs.
The
like
chief of
top
chiefs.
guy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Avienda says, I'm going to stay with you, and explains Geof, which is the Aiel way.
Because she says to you, I have toe
Yeah.
to you for saving my life. Like, I
Right.
owe you, basically.
Yeah, it's not a lover's thing.
Yeah,
But she
although she's
would.
not opposed.
Yeah.
And then she goes, relax, Paranibara. I'm
Yeah.
not going to attack you in a fit of lust.
I do like that one.
Although I a little bit kind of want, like,
It's kind of funny. Yeah.
I'm not upset about
Yeah,
this
she's not a
pairing.
child, but that's not the intention here.
I know, but I like it. I think it's funny.
And then Perrin says they have to go to Falm. So
We
that's
gotta
where
go.
they're headed.
So we're all going to meet up in Fulham.
That's the place to be.
Okay, so let's jump over to our...
Last people to talk about.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do you want to talk about the Browns in the White Tower? Or
Well,
do you want to talk about all of it all together, basically?
Let's talk about the girls and their kidnapping first, and then we can circle back to the tower.
Okay, so we have Nynaeve, Egwene, Elaine, and Leandrin,
Yes,
who are now in the ways.
we are in the ways again, and this is a confirmed kidnapping. Just
confirmed kidnapping.
if we weren't sure,
They're definitely where they're not supposed to be.
being held against their will.
Leandrin is taking this dangerous way to
Yeah.
get to the other side of the world very quickly.
Yes,
Because that's why we traveled in the ways last season.
yeah, we had to get some A to B very quickly.
Right.
So.
And I guess we're not worried about the Blackwind, Mashadar.
You know,
No, Mashinshin.
Machin Shin.
Yep.
Yep,
The one that tells you all your inner thoughts
exactly.
and scary things.
Yeah.
But, side note that I forgot about, there are definitely horses here.
Sure.
But last season, Moraine was pretty sure horses can't go in the ways.
Well, maybe she's never been through the ways before.
Yeah.
And doesn't know.
Wasn't going to risk the horses.
Or doesn't want to risk her horses.
Right, because she's totally cool capping other horses.
That's
turns
true.
out.
Maybe it's a personal horse situation.
Maybe. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we do have horses in the ways. We have a Nynaeve Leandrin talk about broken oaths and how every woman pays her price, and some confirmation that Leandrin is in fact evil
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a dark friend.
It's
slash
like, hey, you weren't trying to recruit me for the Red Aja,
Black.
dot.
Black Aja.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, my theory was because the other two are passed out, and I think that Leandrin has them knocked out
Like magically?
magically.
Sure.
And she wakes up Nynaeve because she's maybe a little bored and wants to talk.
Or she wants to continue that relationship. Like, maybe there is a little bit of hope. Like, at this point, hypothetically, Nynaeve's like, yeah, I'll come to the dark side. Is she going to turn over Nynaeve to Suroth, or is she just going to turn over the other two? Like,
Right.
hypothetically.
Okay.
Hypothetically.
Okay, so then that's when we have this conversation about how Nynaeve is super pissed off and is like, oh my gosh, you broke your oaths.
Mm-hmm.
You broke the 3 oaths. You attacked us. And Leandrin says, I've broken way more than 3 oaths.
Yeah, you don't even know.
Yeah, but then she says, every woman has her price.
Yeah.
Nynaeve is like, no way, Jose.
Well,
I'm with the light.
I guess we'll see. I
Mhm.
guess we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so let's exit the ways into a jungle.
Okay, but note the Waygate,
Different.
different.
Yeah.
Now, I do like that it's very clear we're somewhere different because you see the tropical trees, the
Oh,
palm
yeah.
trees.
Yeah.
I believe this was filmed in Morocco.
Very cool.
Well, I know Falm was filmed in Morocco.
So maybe here too.
Yeah,
All right. It's a big maybe.
it's a big maybe.
Okay.
And then we have a Suroth versus Liandrin showdown.
I love that she always goes everywhere on her big palanquin thing.
Palanquin.
Yeah.
Palanquin.
She's always there. She's always there on it.
Well, yeah, she's not going to walk.
If I could be transported everywhere on one of those things, I think I would
Prince
too.
Ali of her.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. They have the same master, but they have very opposing views on life.
I love it. I love it. And that makes a lot of sense with the Suroth Ishamael thing too. Like maybe it adds a little bit more layers and explanations because she wants to see all of the channelers collared.
Suroth does, yes.
Suroth does, yeah. So she wants all the Aes Sedai, probably.
All of them.
All the channelers, everybody.
Once she even says to Liandrin, I'm the one who's going to put a collar on your pretty little neck. And I'm pretty positive that that is exact words from the book.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
This entire scene feels exactly word for word.
It does.
Like, this feels so Wheel of Time that it is just makes my heart feel good.
Yeah. And then Leandrin's like, no, you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you.
Gotta get you first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like it. So she's literally here to drop off the girls.
Yes.
Which are more than what she was originally planning to because Elaine shouldn't be here.
No.
Neither should Egwene.
Right.
But they're all here now.
Right. And we get the term Merith Damane.
Merith Damane.
So the term Damane is the captured women.
Yeah.
And Merith Damane are the ones who need to still be captured.
Exactly. There you go. So then it's time for Liandrin to dip back out through the way gate.
But before she does that...
Yeah, release the bonds.
Yeah, she's like, if you survive, because she knows...
I feel like that is something she did because this Suroth interaction went so poorly.
Yeah.
And she's like, deal with this.
Yeah.
Deal with this one.
Good luck.
And she like lifts the shields and releases the bonds on the three girls.
Yeah.
Like
wakes
just
them up.
Yeah. Not to like help them necessarily, but just to screw with Suroth a little bit.
And also give them a shot, because she also doesn't really like. She delivered them,
and
like
she doesn't like
to.
like the collaring of channelers.
No, of
in
course
general.
not.
So yeah. So I like that Elaine's the first one to fight back, and then Egwene does some blocking of blasts, but Nynaeve is
she can't
do anything.
Channel.
It's not very useful.
I question because Liandrin had said Nynaeve can't channel unless she's scared or angry.
Yeah.
And this feels like a pretty scary situation.
Yeah, but what's the level of fear, right?
Yeah, she just couldn't do it.
It could also just be like a very unknown circumstance where,
or
it's scary, but like...
emotional reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
And here, because she's just waking up, she doesn't know what's going on. I don't know.
Yeah.
She couldn't do it.
Yeah, can't do it.
So she ran away.
Yeah.
Elaine runs away.
Yep.
Egwene tries to run away.
Does not get away.
Cuts back. Egwene's captured.
And she's wrapped up in air. Yep.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay, so then we get some confirmation that they are in Falm.
Yes. Yep.
Nynaeve is super hot-headed.
Yeah, so we have Nynaeve and Elaine who are going to try and sneak through Falm. It's on Tom and Head on the west coast. So that's where Loyal and Perrin are being taken, apparently. Mm-hmm. Even though we know Perrin is free right now. And then Elaine is the one who's trying to keep her head on straight here. And Nynaeve is like the hot-headed one trying to run around and fix everything all at once.
Well, and Nynaeve and Elaine, at this point, don't have a relationship.
Oh, like zero. Yeah.
And so Nynaeve likes to be in control and likes to be in charge.
And I bet Elaine does too. She's the daughter heir.
And everything Elaine is saying is smart.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, look at the clothes. Look at the soldiers. These people aren't from here.
Yeah.
Because of all her noble history lessons.
Yes. It's like, these people are not from here.
And Nynaeve was like, I don't care what they're wearing. I just need to get Egwene back. Like, she's tunnel vision.
Yeah. It's like, let's not draw a ton of attention to ourselves.
We need to reassess the situation. We need to come up with a plan. And then we need to act, but it's...
Like, find where she's being held.
Yeah.
Figure out a plan to get her free. Like, there's so many steps here.
There's so many steps. And Elaine knows that these are foreigners, and that's good, but Nynaeve is just too out of sorts, and they end up getting captured.
It's so funny, because Elaine's in the middle of lecturing her, like, you're gonna get us captured, you're drawing too much attention, and we see the guy, like, see them. Classic scene. I love it.
Classic Wheel of Time.
Knocked on the head.
Passed out. Get him, and you wake up somewhere else. Especially Nynaeve.
No brain injuries.
Yeah,
good.
Not even a concussion.
Not even a concussion. You're perfectly good.
Okay, so it turns out this is Rima of the Yellow Aja.
Yes.
And her warder, not Nefarious, but they are trying to help them.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, we noticed you immediately. You're going to get yourselves and us probably killed.
Definitely.
Because you're causing too much attention here.
Yes.
So apparently Suroth has put up the descriptions for Nynaeve and Elaine already. So we can't just be running around looking like we look.
Right.
And that's kind of where it cuts away for now.
Yeah.
Let's jump back because now we've got Leandrin going back to the tower.
Through the Waygate.
Through the Waygate, so she gets back real fast.
She takes a detour, turns out.
She takes a detour. This was the cover story.
Yeah, I know.
You have
we'll
to
get
assume.
there, though.
Okay.
So this super tangenty side plot.
It's a little bit, yeah.
It's a little world buildy.
Right.
And it gives us lots of information as a viewer.
Yeah.
So we have the brown Aja.
Yes, yeah.
Who
So
love
Varen comes to visit.
Varen is coming back.
Yeah. I love it because Varen comes back and they're like, hey, how's the book you're writing going? And it's like the entire history of the entire world for always
and
or
she's
something.
Like, it's great.
It's going really well.
So good.
Hey, you're just writing the history of everything.
Yeah. And now, super duper side point, but again, I forgot that Cho Chang
from
Harry Potter is Yasika.
Yeah.
Liang. But I love it.
Yeah,
she's
it's
so
fantastic.
good in this, and I love the Harry Potter crossover. Personally.
Yeah. So the Brown Aja girls, they're here to party. They're here to catch up.
They love to drink
and gossip.
And I have to say, Varen takes a real bite of real food.
Does she?
Yeah.
How do you even know?
I just felt it.
It just feels
good.
right.
It felt
okay.
like she actually was eating.
Yeah.
And so
I do love that they're gossiping though, because Varen's like, I need the gossip of the tower too.
Yeah.
But
tell
also,
me. I heard about these novices.
It's strategy.
It's super strategy.
Yeah. But also, she probably loves it.
Okay. So we have Detective Varen on the case.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go visit Sheriam.
Because she wants to meet Egwene and Nynaeve.
Well, because Sheriam's the novice mistress lady.
Mistress of novices, you could say.
That's the one.
That's the one, yep.
Yeah. So she's in charge of novices. And we're like, hey, can we go see those ladies? Oh, they're probably just doing their chores. Oh, shit. No, they're gone.
Yeah, Varen's like, I checked that. They are not here. Where are they? And also Elaine, the daughter of Andor. Where are these 3 people who are very important?
Yes. Turns out they went to go celebrate Elaine's brother's birthday.
Name day.
Name day party.
Yeah.
They gotta go.
Yeah.
They're gone. Look, they were signed out right here.
Yeah, so interestingly, it's weird that it slipped her mind because that's like a pretty big effing deal.
Yeah, well, and I love that we get named Gawain.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So Gawain is Elaine's brother, and we know that Gawain has been cast for season 3.
Fantastic.
At this point.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting.
Are we going to see the name day ceremony?
Well, it's not real. So no.
It's not real. I know. Oh no, that's terrible.
That's terrible.
So now we got to do more investigation here.
Okay. So then the Browns gather all together.
Right.
Because Yasika sneaks in, reads the book, and then it's like, okay, what did you find out? Good thing Yasika's got an eidetic memory.
Yeah, so she can figure out, like, what was written down in the book of, like, where people are checked out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this sentence doesn't exactly match. It's almost like her hand was shaky or it was forged. Oh, but she remembered doing it eventually.
Yes,
sort of.
it prepped her mind.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Varen's got another
it
idea.
Compulsion?
Compulsion. Ooh. But that means if compulsion was used on Sheriam to get these girls out of the tower, well, that means that the Black Aja exists. And Varen's like, we need to know the names of everyone who's been out of the tower in the last couple of days here.
Side note.
Yeah.
If we were taking shots for doing Harry Potter references.
Sure.
Which we are not.
Yeah.
But if anybody feels so inclined.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
Okay.
Because not only do we have Cho Chang figuring this out.
Okay.
We have compulsion, which is almost identical to an unforgivable curse.
Right, okay.
Of Imperio.
Okay.
Where you curse somebody to do
compel
what
them.
You want that you compel them.
Compulsion, yeah.
And we have Cho Chang saying, but that's not allowed. It's unforgivable. Like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like she felt that way during this? I want to ask her that.
I have to believe. Oh, 1,000%.
Right.
It's exactly the same.
Was it in the original script Or was she like, oh, I got this? Yeah.
No, it's so good. It's so good. It's so
All
good.
right.
The crossover, I love it so much.
It's a good crossover
It's
event,
great.
okay?
Yeah.
So anyways, so now we have Varen saying, okay, we got to figure out who's been on the tower because we got to figure out who might have possibly compelled Sheriam to allow these three
to leave
Wonder
at this
Girls
time.
to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Turns out Leandrin was away.
Oh, yeah,
so
she was.
Varen is going to ambush her on her way back into the tower.
Hey, Leandrin, how was your trip?
Great. Want to see all my asparagus in my backpack?
This is where I was. I went out to get white asparagus. Very specific.
Very specific.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Leandrin does not play this very cool.
No.
I don't think she was expecting this because usually Leandrin's pretty
she was
prepared.
Expecting it a little bit because she has the white asparagus
She
lined
has
up
a
at
cover
the top
story.
of
I
her
don't
backpack.
think she has the cover story of having this. I don't think she expected someone who is as capable as Varen seems to be to ambush her with this because Varen's like, hey, I went to go see the novices, Egwene and Nynaeve. And then Leandrin's like, yeah, cool. And then Varen's like, yeah, they're not here. It says that they went out for some name day ceremony.
Oh, right.
And then Leandrin's like, oh, I just heard that, wasn't a convoy just attacked or something?
Yeah,
up
it's like
there?
this makeshift.
Yeah, it's like a bad cover story.
Yeah.
So I just feel like she was definitely taken off guard a little bit. Like she had something prepared, but it didn't work.
Right, because then she could be like, oh, that's how they ended up in Falma when we go find them.
Exactly. Like, oh, you just covered your
Maybe
butt?
she wants them to be found and rescued.
Do you think that?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want women to be collared?
Yes.
Okay. Like she has to follow...
But she has to follow all the... Because
she has to follow orders.
She has to follow her dark friend orders.
Okay, yeah.
But she also wants them to be rescued.
So she's a good
because then
guy.
she races off to be like, we have to tell the Amerlin right away about this.
Okay.
And then Varen's like, weirdo.
Yeah, it is weird.
The weirdest thing about all of this, and I said it in my other thing...
Okay, do you like Leandrin?
Oh, I like Leandrin.
Not like do you think that...
No.
Okay.
I think she's a bad guy.
Okay.
I think she's not without her reasons, though.
Sure.
And
okay.
I can absolutely empathize with where she's coming from and why she's done what she's done.
Okay. All right, fair. That's very fair.
And she's really someone who sticks to her convictions.
That's true.
So there are things to be said about her, but...
You can't say she doesn't stick to her convictions.
Can't say that.
Can't say that.
And also, she certainly knows how to line up 5 asparagus at the top of her backpack.
You know what? You're going to be real embarrassed when I come home tomorrow with my bag, and I'm just going to have 5 asparagus sitting there.
Lined up at the very... Like, that's not how... Like, they're not
And you're going to be like, where were you? And I'll be like, out getting asparagus.
White asparagus. Only available at this time of year.
Yeah. Oh, it's
not
good.
in a bundle, not in a bag, just
They
loose.
didn't have bags back then.
Loose asparagus.
They didn't have plastic bags back then.
No, but they had like bundles of stuff. You bundle up.
A piece of string to tie the asparagus together.
They're just all like loose in her backpack. Oh, like, it's the craziest thing.
I don't buy it.
I'm still a year and a half later perplexed.
Shocked. Yeah.
Perplexed by the loose asparagus just at the top of a backpack.
Oh, okay.
She could have just been like, I have it.
We have one more scene to talk about.
Oh, we do?
We do. The very last scene.
Oh, Egwene.
Egwene.
Yes.
So all this build up.
All of it.
The gift that Suroth has for Lord Turak that Ashamel's like, hey, just check out this cool nifty gift.
It's nifty gifty.
Nifty gifties
It's
with
Egwene.
Ashamel.
She's a great, powerful channeler.
Yeah.
And she's yours now.
Stronger than any Damane they've seen in a long time. And they put the collar on Egwene, and it is severe.
Scary.
Yeah, it's scary. It's harsh. It like forms the actual like body piece, and then we've got the physical attachment of the cord, the collar.
Well, first though, we have a magical connection.
Magical connection
to
first.
the Suldam's gauntlet.
Yeah, wrist guard.
Wrist thing.
Wrist
Bracelet. And then they clip a physical leash on.
To really drill home.
Yeah. It's pretty devastating.
It is, absolutely. And it's Egwene, so
very devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the end of episode 5.
Yeah, but my favorite is the actual scene we end on with Dominatrix Leandrin.
Oh, yeah. That's the actual, but...
Yeah. But yes, this sucks.
This is the last scene we have to talk about.
But it really sounds like Rima, the Yellow Aja,
Mm-hmm.
is going to help Nynaeve and Elaine try to rescue Egwene.
Like, maybe. So here's the interesting,
their
too.
goal, I
So
think.
last episode when Leandrin was talking to Lyanna, like, hey, there's an invasion in the West. Does the Amyrlin know? Lyanna says, we've sent sisters. We have sent sisters there to investigate. So we have to assume that Rhyma is one of those said sisters.
And in season 1, we have Moraine in the steam room.
Yes.
Talking to Magdalene.
Yes, of the blue.
The blue.
Yeah.
And she says, there's something happening out on the West Coast.
And I'm going
to investigate.
So you have to stay in the tower.
And Moraine was like, okay, cool. Good
Well, and that's why Moraine got banished.
Yes.
Because
she doesn't want to stay in the tower. To stay in the tower.
Yeah.
So all of this stuff has been laid out throughout the seasons. And
it's
now
all coming together. Falma's the place to be. Falm's the place to be.
Okay. It's good. This season's so good.
Oh, yeah. Coming up next, episode 6.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. And as we say around here, it's part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Hey, thanks so much for sticking around. That's the end of another fun episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted and edited by Dani and Brett and produced by Dani and Brett with Passion Socks, Cody Feltz, Benjamin, Jamie Young, Megan, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Adam, Mozyme, Michelle Forbes, MKM, Antoine Benoit, Lawrence Bradley, Colby T, Gabby Young, Rycat, Zane Sayaka, Matrix, Matt Truss, The Albatross, Bratimus Prime, Sarah Creech, Sims, and Saverio Bartolini. With music by Audionautics. Now, everyone, please be sure to go check out our Patreon page if you are interested in supporting us and the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon-exclusive merchandise as a thank you, plus you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else. And, at the time of recording, we have almost 50 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. Find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. As always, please be sure to give us a 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference in helping other people find us. And be sure to tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. For general information about our show, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, and how to get in touch with us, visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.